Hi, it's Mama Couts, also known as Katie to some of you, because I know some of my people follow me here. Actually, you're all my people. If you're here, you're my people. Um, I had some friends actually reaching out recently about how to get started prepping. And the funny thing to me is they've known me for so long and they're just now getting started. But it's better now than not at all, right? I started, gosh, how long ago was that? 2012, maybe, I think. And you know what started it for me? My son was like, you need to watch the show Jericho. All right. So I watched Jericho, and then there was one of those like Big Brother type shows, and that was called The Colony, I think, or Colony. And both of those, I was like, we need to start putting some food up and we need to start buying stuff. And my husband thought I'd lost my mind until I said he could buy ammo. And then he was like, oh, all right, this is something we should do. So that's what we did. And I kind of went a little overboard. And again, the Enneagram 6 comes into this, right? I totally was like, we need all the things like right now. And so over the years, we've probably spent way more money than we needed to. And we don't even have some of those, like we bought quads, and it was just stupid, irresponsible spending. And it is all worked out. It's all worked out. Some of the things we still have. I have a well pump, a hand well pump that we spent like $900 on, and now we don't even have a well. So if you were in the market for a hand well pump that you just put down your well and it's a pump, really good quality. I've got one and I'm in Middle Tennessee. So if you're in Middle Tennessee and are in the and need one, I'll give you a really good deal. I'll even hand deliver. Because we don't have a well and there's no water around us. I mean, I guess we could use it for the pool, but it's really big. Anyway, I digress. So, how do you get started, right? Like what do you do? And I started with just getting extra cans of food at the grocery store on my regular grocery trips, right? Like I would buy a couple of extra cans of green beans, or I would get a couple of extra cans of corn, or buying those dried soups. Like back in the day, they were only like $3, like the bear paw soups. Make sure you have water stored because you're gonna need water for those, right? So that was how we really started, was just super small, like powdered milk here and there. And then we started getting into the like 25-year shelf life food, which at the time Walmart actually sold it. And so I've got all sorts of brands on the shelf. And I met a gal at an event, a preparedness event. She wanted my oils, and she still sells actually Thrive Life food. And so I started doing that. So we kind of would trade back and forth. And then she started getting oils, and we each got a account with each other, right? So I get the Thrive Life food, and I've tasted a lot, and Mountain House is good, but Thrive is just really good. And honestly, I would use Thrive every day. Like that could be a daily food, just because the quality is so good. And they have a lot of gluten-free options. So I know that if we're having to dip into that food, gluten-free isn't necessarily something you want to be worried about, but it could be if you are more than you're gluten intolerant, not gluten sensitive. You can't be feeling all gross because you're eating gluten just to survive, right? So the 25-year shelf life is part of our plan, and we have quite a bit of it. Again, we've got a lot of adults to feed, so I need to go through it and see what we have, and make sure that we have enough. Like I haven't measured. I need to find a way, and if you know of a way to do this, like serving sizes and how many servings per person and how many calories that we need to intake and that kind of thing. It's been a really long time since I've looked into that. So if you know a good, easy way that we can like find out how many calories we have, how many calories each person needs, because we've got an array of people. We have 220 something young men. We have two mid-20 women, And then we're going to have an older 20s, potentially 2 older 20s and an men. And then my husband and I are in our 50s. So a bunch of 20-year-olds in their 20s, but they're, those young 20-year-old men are going to eat way more than I can or would, because their metabolism is so fast and they are already pencil thin. They don't have any extra weight at all to like go without food, where I am like, clearly I could go a while with missing a meal. So, which is another topic of conversation that I'm going to have about our health and how that's a prep item. And I totally believe that my health is a prep item. And I went to the doctor recently and she was like, "You're not on any medications?" And I'm like, "No." And I promptly left there with a Flonase prescription for my throat. So obviously I didn't fill that. I use oils and now I know what my problem is, but I'm kind of rambling, aren't I? I just love talking to you, and I wish that you were just sitting across from me with your coffee and we could just sit and chat. So that's going to be another topic, is our health. But talking about food storage and how much we're going to need. I have a lot of pasta. I have a lot of sauce, tomato sauce, canned tomatoes. I started doing it. You could probably get better deals at Walmart, honestly, but I would just buy in bulk at Costco. I have beans and rice, and then which I would buy. And mind you, this has been a few years now since I bought that. I have no idea what the prices are on any of these things now, and I'm just really thankful that I bought it when I did. I would buy bags of rice and beans at Costco, and then we would vacuum seal them, and then we put them in a gamma sealed lid bucket. So these things are like bricks. These things are so hard. And so when we vacuum sealed them, we put in oxygen absorbers, and then we would put a bunch of them in a bucket and then sealed that bucket with a gamma seal lid. And then we have a big tote also that's obviously not airtight, but that tote probably weighs 100 pounds between the beans and the rice that are in there. So at the risk of getting really tired of eating beans and rice, you're going to want to stockpile seasonings and sauces, right? Like, you're going to get sick of eating beans and rice. And even with as many seasonings as you could possibly do, you're going to get sick of it. But at least you have food. And or things to bulk up other meals. Like if you have a little bit of protein, you can use the beans and rice to bulk up that protein. Because I do that now. Like, these kids, they can eat a lot. And I'm like, we do not need to eat 5 pounds of hamburger in a sitting. We can eat 3 pounds and you can have some rice. So we just got to stretch it. Our freezer is full, and I'm again thankful for that. We found, back in the day there was Zaycon Foods, and now it's called Savory Butcher. It was a way to get like a farm to table meat, and they have bacon and chicken and roast or hamburger, ground beef, and all of that. And when we moved to Tennessee, I'm very thankful that Savory Butcher is still here. It's a little over an hour drive for me to get it, but it's totally worth it. So I put in an order in January, we got here in March. So I put in an order like right when we got here, and I didn't get it till August, but I was able to get chicken thighs, chicken breast, and ground beef. I think I got 40 pounds of each, which won't last long with as many people as we have, but getting that freezer full. So what happens if we lose power? Probably need a generator. And out here, our weather, even I never had a generator in Idaho, because if the power went out in the winter, our freezer would still stay cold because it was cold. It was really cold in Idaho in the winter. And here we have storms. Like right now I can see some clouds. I don't know what those are going to do today. And we are under tornado warning. So who knows, right? So we do need a generator, because we will lose a lot of food if we lose our power. So something to think about. Canning it. You can can your meat. I don't know if you knew that. You can pressure can it. So you can take your chicken and pressure can it. You can take ground beef. You want to cook it first, because otherwise it turns into like a little meatloaf. So you want to cook ground beef and then can it. I have a video? I have a blog post about that. I don't know if I have a video, but I do have blog posts about all these things. I'll link them below. Don't be afraid of the pressure canner. And if it's too hot for you to can, do it outside. We have a freestanding 2-burner stove that I use, because you can't do it on a glass stove anyway. So if you don't know how to can, just buy your canned food at the grocery store. Like if you want to learn new skills, which we should have all these skills anyway, learn them. But if you don't want to take the time to learn them now, maybe over the winter, that's something you could do. But in the meantime, get some food, because the shelves are bare. Getting bare, or some shelves are more bare than others. I went through Walmart yesterday to grab something, and I just kind of glanced because I didn't need anything. And the water was there wasn't very much water. There was many aisles that were just kind of nitpicked. So I don't really know what the problem was, or if there is a problem, or if it's just not being food delivered or being put on the shelves because they're short-staffed. I don't know what the reasons are. I just know that the shelves are not as full as they used to be. And I know that the trucks they don't have a lot of back stock, grocery stores, and that's been a thing for years. They don't have many things in the back like they used to. So just start with food. That's what I would do. And then you're going to want your basics, like your flashlights and your batteries, things that you use on a daily basis. Paper towels, toilet paper, which you probably bought a lot last year and probably still have some from that. So just your basics. I don't want you to freak out, and I don't want you to go overboard, but I do want you to be ready. Like we have a wheat grinder, because I'm like, power's gonna go out. We're never gonna have power again. I need a wheat grinder. So we have buckets of wheat berries and a wheat grinder, and they're still in the boxes, and the wheat berries have never been touched. So, but I have them if I need them. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have it on the shelf, but I don't know if you can get a wheat grinder today. So maybe I could sell it and pay off my car. I don't know. What else I'm trying to think. I should have written all this down. Next week, I will have a plan. I will write down my plan so I'm not rambling. But I feel like I just want to sit and talk and have coffee with you, just like across the table from me, right? And this is my coffee. I drink iced coffee, and my daughter made this cup, so I use this cup all the time. She's into epoxy. She does this as her business, so there's a little shout out. So if you need an epoxy cup, she makes some really cool American flag and Constitution cups. So if that's something you're interested in, I will leave a link below for those. What else? Oh, like toiletries. Like if you have a favorite shampoo or a favorite soap, maybe stock up on some of that. And some of this is common knowledge. Like living in the country, it's not called prepping, it's just called like shopping. Like you just have extra because it's going to take you a while to get to the store. Like where we live now, again, we're an hour from Costco, and which is where I primarily shop. We do have a grocery store up the road, and then Amazon delivers here every day. Like could deliver every day because they have those little vans. Where we lived in Coeur d'Alene, we didn't even have that, but here they come out in their little van. So because we're near Nashville, so if there's anything I need, I just do that because it's actually cheaper and quicker for me to do that than it is to go to town. So I'm kind of rambling. I'll have stuff written down next week. Just get some food in your shelves. Get some pasta, get some rice, get some beans, your basics. Get some water. They say a gallon of water per person per day, minimum. That's just to drink, right? So your toiletries, things that you don't want to run out of. I was going to say Tylenols and ibuprofens and all of that. If that's your thing, I would do that. Obviously, we have oils. We do have some of those things just because it could be, I don't know, could be used for bartering. Maybe the neighbor needs Tylenol, and they have eggs with their chickens. So like, here's some Tylenol. Give me a couple eggs. Which that's another thing we're gonna get. I get chickens again, so I'm super excited about that. So yeah, just things that you use every day that you don't want to run out of, basically. I don't want to freak out. I don't want to oh my gosh, the sky is falling, because we don't know. But I will tell you, the things that I've read and known and been watching for years, especially since this new president came in, and then with the Facebook shutting down for 8 or 9 hours, and Instagram and WhatsApp, something tells me something's happening. Like those 50,000 people came to Telegram because of that outage? And that's where people are going to wake up. And if you know, you know. So with that said, I'm going to stop rambling. I've been on here 15 minutes now, and you're probably not even at this point. If you are, thank you for listening. Hit the like and the subscribe button, and I will be sure to come back next week with notes, so I'm not rambling. But bring your coffee, because I love having this little porch chat with you. Maybe that's what I'll call it, porch chat. Front Porch Friday. Should we do that, Front Porch Friday? Except it's my back porch. Front porch has got a highway, so we're not sitting on the front porch. Have a good day, y'all, and I will see you next week.